Good day, students. Let us talk about the types of clauses. Remember, a clause is a group of words that conveys a meaning. We have two main different types of clauses. That is the main clause, which is also called independent clause, and the subordinate clause, which is also called the dependent clause. Let us look at the independent clause. Under the independent clause, we have two categories. We have the independent clause itself and the coordinate clause. Let us look at the independent clauses under independent clause. An independent clause contains both the subject and verb and stands alone as a sentence. An independent clause is also called a simple sentence. For example, we can say, Kunda worked the whole night. This one contains the subject and the verb and stands alone as a sentence. Kunda is the subject, the verb is worked, and it is completed as a sentence. Number 2, she is swimming in the pool. The sentence contains both the subject and the verb. Let us look at coordinate clauses. A coordinate clause will contain two or more independent clauses of equal value, usually joined by coordinators such as for, and, or yet. We can also use but as a coordinator. A coordinate clause is also called a compound sentence. For example, if we say Kunda worked the whole night, but she was unable to finish her work. Kunda worked the whole night is the first clause, but this can stand on its own as a sentence. When we say Kunda worked the whole night, it's a full sentence and it has a complete meaning. Then we join it with she was unable to finish her work. This is also a complete sentence and can stand on its own. But when we join them with the coordinator but, it is read as worked the whole night, but she was unable to finish her work. Number 2, Tanda went to work, but Alice went to the farm and I went to the shops. There are 3 sentences that have different meanings but are joined by the 2 coordinators and. So if we say Tanda went to work, it's a complete sentence. If we say Alice went to the farm, it's a complete sentence. And I went to the shop is also a complete sentence. So we have 3 independent clauses that are being joined into one sentence to make a compound sentence. Let us now look at the second type of clauses, which is the subordinate clause. Subordinate clause. This is a clause that have both the subject and the verb but cannot stand alone as a sentence. This is because it does not express a complete thought. Subordinate clauses include noun clauses, adjectival clauses, and adverbial clause. Let us go into detail to discuss the noun clause, adverbial clause, and adjectival clause. Under subordinate clause, let us begin by explaining what a noun clause is. A noun clause will contain a subject and a verb which function as a noun or pronoun. A noun clause or a noun phrase can be the subject, object, or complement. For example, if we say, she liked that he was always on time. That he was always on time is a subordinate clause because it contains a subject and a verb and is functioning as a noun or a pronoun. Number 2, that she did not pass the examination is evidence enough. So the clause that she did not pass the examination is a noun clause. Number 3, mother seemed angry that she refused to clean the house. That she refused to clean the house is a noun clause because it is not a complete thought When it stands on its own, it will not be a complete thought. So we say that she refused to clean the house. An adverbial clause will give more information about the time, place, and purpose of the action which happened. An adverbial clause will give more information by answering the 4 questions: where, how, and when. So for example, if we say, even if I take a train, I still might be late for school. So the adverbial clause is even if I take the train. So it is answering how. Second example, wherever he went, his dog was able to go. So the adverbial clause is wherever he went, which is answering the question where. And the subordinate clause, let us now explain what relative or adjectival clause is. What does a relative clause do? A relative clause performs the function of an adjective. It gives more information about nouns, noun phrases, or personal pronouns like he, she, it, or they. It always begins with a relative pronoun, whom, which, or that in the main clause. For example, if we say, girls who ate chocolate are few. Girls who hate chocolates are few. So who hates chocolates is the relative clause. Example number 2. The man whom I visited is my uncle. Whom I visited is a relative clause. You can go back in this video and look at the information again. Right now, let us try to tackle this one together. I would like you to match the clause with its meaning. On your left, you can see the type of clause. On the right, you can see the meaning. So number 1, it says on your left, number 1 says independent clause. Number 2, dependent clause. Number 3, coordinate clause. Number 4, noun clause. Number 5, adverbial clause. Number 6, adjectival clause. So match the meaning with the clause on the left here. So I'll ask you to pause this video here and match the meanings. After you match the meanings, then you can go on with the video, watch the rest of the video. Good luck. Now you compare the meaning with the clause. Did you match the clause with the meaning correctly? For example, with me, I matched the meaning with the color codes. Is it the same as the way you matched them? See if you got all the 6 correctly. Congratulations. If you correctly matched all the 6, you can always go back in this lesson and review the information.